our today's guest, Mr. Vishal Kulkarni sir, Mrs. Priyanka Karnik ma'am, and our Vice Principal sir, Professor Patak sir, IIC Coordinator, and Professor Jagtap sir, President of IIC. So moving forward, the topic of today's webinar session is Engineering to Entrepreneurs, a Story. So now, before going further, I would like to call Professor Jagtap sir to give some more information about IIC. Jagtap sir?
Am I audible?
Yeah, sir, you're audible.
Good morning to one and all. First of all, I thank our today's chief guest, Vishal Kulkarni and Mrs. Priyanka Karnik for giving us time to guide our students on the occasion of Engineers Day. Actually, the Engineers Day was yesterday, but due to some technical problems, we are conducting the program today. With the permission of Vice Principal, I would like to talk about the Institution Innovation Council, which has been established by Ministry of Education to foster the culture of innovation amongst the students and faculties of higher education institutes. In our college, the council was established in 2018 under the chairmanship of Dr. Navle. I myself president, then Mrs. Patel ma'am is convener, and other coordinators are Patak sir, who is with us. He is the in charge of innovation. The Lagdive sir, who is related with internship. Tare sir, who is looking after the social activities. The Bansode sir of the star, looking after the startup. The Thakur ma'am, who is looking about IPR, and as well as she is looking after ARII, that is Atal ranking. Mofre sir, who is also a member, is also looking for NISP and hackathon. And Valsankar sir, who is looking about NIRF also. We have also the council members from bankers, from Lokmangal Bank, from the industries, from MIT TBI Pune also. We have got one of the member of it, and the alumni. Means we have got the council of faculties from different departments, students from different departments, and higher authorities, that is HODs and our IQAC cell, who are guiding us and monitoring us about the activities that are conducted to boost the students' innovation. So all have joined. The number has already exceeded 137. Thank you, everybody. Amid this COVID situation also, the students have shown the positive interest. And I'm sure that whenever there is some crisis, uh, just like in Japan or in Germany, after crisis only they have developed a lot. And on Engineers Day, we can say that we have got such eminent speakers which will boost us to the nation. About the ISC, I would like to have one more part to tell you that in line with Government of India's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, of strengthening entrepreneurship activities at higher education. That is, we have started various activities related to the entrepreneurship. We have got IIC along with EDC, and we have formed the cell. And I'm proud to say that in 2018-19, in the very first year, we got 3-star ranking out of 5 stars. In the next year, that is 2019-2020, we have got the 4.5-star ranking out of 5. And this year, the result is still better. We have also received ranking of Atal ranking among the category of private colleges. So we follow the activities conducted by MIC and undertake additional entrepreneurial and innovation activities. As we all know that our college has got the project-based learning activity, which our vice principal will surely elaborate. And from since inception of the college, and now we are going further ahead. That is from project to product concept and from lab to market. So under this IIC, the new ideas are promoted and nurtured so that students can be the future entrepreneurs like our today's guest Kulkarni. We are organizing seminars, webinars, guest lectures, workshops, and many more activities for the better exposure for developing innovative ideas of the students. We are proud to say that our books have also received the copyrights, and two of our faculties do have the patents. I would also like to thank the curator, sir, because of whom I came in contact with our today's guest, Vishal Kulkarni. These initiatives and achievements of the institute will surely, in your near future, will make Sholapur a hub for the industries, as our guest is also from Sholapur. And for that, we have developed the IIC cell. Thank you very much. Over to you, Virajda.
Thank you, sir. Now it's time to take the initial regards from our vice principal, sir, and even he is the HOD of mechanical department. So I request RT Vevare, sir, to please address us.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. Good morning to all. Special thanks to Vishal Kulkarni, sir, for accepting our invitation and sparing some time to share his knowledge and inspire the students, young generation especially. Again, I thank Mrs. Priyanka Karnik, madam, for being with us in this session. I thank all the organizers of IIC, Professor Jagtap and his team, Patak, for organizing such kind of event. Friends, today the topic of this session is entrepreneurship, or becoming an entrepreneur. So definitely today's speaker, Vishal Kulkarni, sir, so definitely he is having vast experience in this field, because I have seen he is guiding to various industries on various fields so that they can improve their efficiency, and he is trying to solve the problems of the industry as well. So definitely today we have got very good speaker with us, and he is the right person to guide all of us in this regard. Already Professor Jagtap has talked about our institute and the initiatives taken by our institute for the innovation related things, and he has talked about the outcome of these activities. So definitely, friends, whenever you do something, so if you just put your effort, so definitely success follows you. So you did not do anything else. So that is the same thing I wanted to tell, that as we all are engineers, and we know that there is an imbalance today between job givers and job seekers. And if there is an imbalance, there is a problem. So that is why I think, and as we all are engineers, professional graduates, or we are going to have graduation after few years, because most of the students for this session, they are from the final year. And definitely after 1 year, you will be graduating from engineering, and you might have decided something to go ahead in your career. But friends, let me tell you, who are in the professional, always their ultimate aim is or has to be an entrepreneur. And I'm very happy to tell you that many of our students, they have entered in the entrepreneurship field. Let it be their family business, they have taken it ahead, or they have started new businesses. One of my students, his family business was just, I think, hardware shop, and his parent was selling the welding rod. And whenever he graduated, he entered into the business, and he took the, I think, district distributorship for this welding rod. And their main business has become the welding rod distribution. And he is now feeling that why he should not start the manufacturing of the welding rods by himself. One of my students, Vipul Todkar, I think he has passed out, I think 3-4 years back he has passed out. And whenever he was in the final year, in the last semester, he came to me and he asked, sir, I want 15 days leave. I asked him, why you want the 15 days leave? He told, sir, I want to do such kind of thing, or I want to enter in the business. I asked him, what kind of business? He said me, sir, I want to enter, or I want to set up the industry wherein I want to manufacture nut and bolts required for the mechanical industry. And believe me, so I told him, yes, you can go, no problem from my side. And because this machinery, he wanted to go to meet the vendors of the machinery, etc. And today you will find that in the Palouse, so he is having industry and he is manufacturing nut and bolts. Initially, he faced a lot of difficulties. Why I am telling to friends? So today's speaker also will talk about this. Friends, yes, there are challenges. Always the entrepreneurship way is not so simple. So there are challenges, but definitely. So if you want to enter in this field, so you start early. At least you start preparing yourself. Start listening to speakers, those who are already entrepreneurs. Then whatever the field you wanted to work in, so start you can say developing, accumulating the information about that. Start value addition programs and in that field. Start, you can say, doing the you can say this industrial trainings, in-plant trainings in that field, or the companies which are working in that field start taking the practical knowledge. Undertake some of the projects in that field. So definitely this will boost your, I think, success, or I think you, these things will prepare you in that regard. So I wanted to talk about this Vipul Todkar. So he was telling, so whenever I asked him, so how you have gone for the marketing? He told that initially he got lot of, I think, resistance from the market side whenever he started selling the nut and bolts. Because many of the dealers, they were not, I think, contacting, and whenever he used to contact them, so they used to tell, no, already we are getting at the lower rate from this side, that side. And the only intention of these dealers was to reduce the prices of these, and they wanted to have this material at the little lesser rates. But slowly he got the things, and he became successful, I think, marketer as well. So what I wanted to tell you is that yes, the ways are not simple. That depends again. So how much you have prepared for that, how much homework you have done, how many people are there with you to support and guide. But let me tell you, so I think today's generation should definitely look for the entrepreneurship, and future is very bright, and government is also supporting a lot. So I'll not take much of your time, because today's speaker, Vishal Kulkarni sir, so definitely he will guide you in this regard, and definitely he will inspire you to have certain things in the entrepreneurship. So with this, so I thank all the participants for joining this session. I thank Kulkarni sir for sparing his time and being with us. I thank once again Priyanka madam for joining this session. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable words. Now it's time to have a short introduction about our today's guest. So firstly, I would like to introduce Mrs. Priyanka Karnik Madam. She is the president of Rotary Club of Pune University. Now I request her to please guide us. Please, ma'am, over to you.
Okay. Good morning to all dignitaries of Mechanical Engineering Department of Naulé Sehgal Engineering College, IIC. Our own dynamic club member, chief guest and speaker, Rotarian Vishal Kulkarni, and all participant students. I am Rotarian Priyanka Karnik, president of Rotary Club of Pune University. Our club is part of Rotary International Service Organization. There are different focus areas where Rotary works. Youth is one of these focus areas, which is of immense importance as future of particular country and world as a whole depends upon productive youth power. Educational institutions like Knowledge Sihagan Engineering Colleges or like councils like ICC play a key role for creating and dispersion of knowledge and skills amongst youth. We Rotary clubs conduct various activities in association with such institutions to channelize youth skills, knowledge, and energy in more productive manner. On behalf of Rotary Club of Pune University, I express my sincere thanks to Mechanical Engineering Department of Sihagar College for giving our club an opportunity to be a part of this interesting webinar by knowledgeable achiever and entrepreneur Rotarian Vishal Kulkarni. I am sure students will have productive takeaway from today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I request Swaraj to have a short introduction about Vishal Kulkarni, sir. Over to you, Swaraj.
Okay, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. Hello everyone. I am here to introduce our today's guest, Mr. Vishal Kulkarni, sir. I am delighted to have the opportunity to address such a talented and hardworking personality. Vishal sir is one of the founder and managing director of Faber Infinite Creative Solutions Private Limited with operations in Asia Pacific, Africa and Middle East. He has about 20 years of rich experience with various organizations. Also, he holds master's degree in operation management with his first degree being in production engineering. He is an organizational turnaround specialist. His forte is in identifying organizations' bottleneck and designing strategies to overcome those. Sir has worked in the domain of organizational transformation with 100 plus clients across a range of industries, including auto industry, engineering, steel, plastics, agriculture, tea industry, confectionaries, bakery, food products, and service sectors. In India, Africa, and Middle East, he has trained 10,000 plus employees in various tools and techniques. This also includes more than 150 chief experienced officers, which are personally coached by him. He carries expertise to bring the cultural change in the organization. Vishal sir also brings in experience about 20 years. Before starting his business, he has worked with organizations like Kirloskar Oil Engines, Mahindra and Mahindra, and Thermax Limited. He also associated with a Japanese consulting group and delivered many projects for them. He is a certified corporate director and part of advisory board for various organizations. Today, Vishal sir manages an organization which is one of the leading and fast-growing consulting organization in the world. So now I request our today's guest, Mr. Vishal Kulkarni sir, to please guide us.
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Swaraj, for the nice introduction. I hope I am properly audible to everyone.
Yeah, so you're audible.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Great. Thanks. So, good morning, everyone. Thanks for inviting me over here. I would like to start by giving a special thanks to Honorable Principal Dr. Navle, Honorable Vice Principal Dr. Vyavahare, and Jagtap sir, Patak sir, and my good friend Professor Tapkire for inviting me over here for this today's session on a very great day, that is an Engineers Day, which we celebrated yesterday. And I belong to that fraternity of engineers, so it was a proud day for all of us. So at the start, let me wish all of you a very, very happy Engineers Day. We all engineers, today's engineers and tomorrow's engineers, are playing a great role in shaping not only the country but the world. So let's be proud of our profession, which we are doing. So wish you all a very, very happy Engineers Day. Well, I also like to thank more than 145 students who are a part of this particular session and ready to invest their time for this particular session. So when I'm talking about this, I'm using my word very, very carefully. I'm thanking you for not spending your time for the session, but I'm thanking you for investing your time for this particular session. Because the spending and investment, these are the two different things. Whenever the word investment is used, there is another word which gets associated with it, which is called as a return on investment. So whenever you are investing, you should always expect some return on investment. To me, this particular session, which will be there for next 45 minutes and so, is a kind of an investment which you should expect from your side in this particular session, and where there will be a responsibility on me to give you the maximize your return on investment. So let me tell you that I will try my best to overcome your expectations and try to give maximum return on investment for this particular session. Now, friends, when we were discussing that we should be coming together on the occasion of Engineers Day, I was in discussion with Professor Tapkire and Professor Jagtap. We were discussing about what topics can be taken. And all of us were very much aware that everyone, that includes you, includes me, are now bored of these online things. These online things is continuing from almost more than 1.5 years for now, and everyone is bored of this online. Everyone wants to be there physically present, and I would be really happy to come to your institute, be part of you all sitting in your auditorium and discussing together. So that day would have been a great day. But at the same time, because of the external scenarios, we are not meeting in person, but we are meeting through this online platform, which has its own constraints. And so what we discuss that what should be the topic which I should be discussing, because we don't want it to bore all of you with many of those topics through this online platform. So I just said them that from the day I became an engineer, or maybe slightly earlier than day, and today, there is only one passion which I have lived in, which is a passion of entrepreneurship. So I always lived with this passion of entrepreneurship. When I was a part of my engineering team, as Professor Vyavhare also just said some time back, I always had that one dream that I don't want to be a job seeker, but I wanted to be a job giver. So there's a small thin line between these two, that is a job seeker versus job giver. So I always thought that I wanted to be on the other side of the coin, where I would like to be a job giver and not to be a job seeker. So that developed a passion to become an entrepreneur. And this passion continues till today. I enjoy this passion. I enjoy my entrepreneurship journey so far, and much bigger journey is laid in front of me. And that passion, after spending almost 10 to 15 years, in the industry and then starting my entrepreneurship journey, that passion today has a small extension. And that extension is just about my entrepreneurship journey, but one of my extended passion nowadays is to create a future entrepreneurs. So that's a kind of a discussion which we have. Then that's where we gave this session a topic that we can discuss a story on entrepreneurship, whether it's my journey, my lessons, or any other journey, the entrepreneurship journey. Let's discuss something on entrepreneurship. What is entrepreneurship? Is it beneficial? Yes, no. What are the do's and don'ts? What are the learnings of those entrepreneurship? So we thought that let's have a session which is around this particular topic, where I can share some of my experiences of being an entrepreneur, what lessons I have learned, which can be helpful for some of you. And outcome of this session is those, my friends who are in this particular session, those who are aspiring entrepreneurs, if it can be helpful for them, it will make your journey of entrepreneurship smoother by even a 1%. I can say that this session will serve its purpose. So that's it all about it. And when I talk about entrepreneurship, as I said, there is a small extension that I am now passionate about creating future entrepreneurs. If I go further deep dive, I'm interested in creating future entrepreneurs from the first generation entrepreneurs. Because becoming a first generation entrepreneur is not easy. First generation entrepreneur means you don't have any family background of being and running a business. You are the first one in the family who decided that I would not do a job, but I will go for starting something on my own. And then you are called or labeled as a first generation entrepreneur. So my passion goes further to those guys who are seeking to be a first generation entrepreneurs. And typically from the team members or friends who belong to a kind of we call it middle class and low side of the earning group, because that's the group which struggles a lot when it comes to the entrepreneurship. So as an outcome of this session, if I can ignite some of you to join this noble profession of entrepreneurship, which is serving, to me, entrepreneurship is not just running your business, but when you are an entrepreneur, you are serving not only your own family, but you are serving the families of your members or your employees. In turn, you are serving to the nation and the society at a large. So to me, entrepreneurship is a very, very noble profession in which you are not just taking care of yourself, but you are thinking of the society at a large. So those members who want to join this noble profession, my special invitation to all of you, come and join this movement where become a future entrepreneur of the world, and let's let's build a bigger ecosystem together. With this, guys, when we talked about entrepreneurship has many dimensions, various facets. There are so many things which are talked about entrepreneurship, and more than that, there are so many things which are not talked about it. And these things which are not talked about it are the hard lessons which every entrepreneur goes through. He learns by doing it. And if these lessons are shared with young members like you, who are just aspiring to become an entrepreneur, I'm sure you will learn from those lessons, devise your own path, because you cannot copy paste any entrepreneur's path. Let me be very honest here. You have to customize your own path when it comes to entrepreneurship. The only thing which you can learn is through this lesson, learn from the lessons and design your own path. So this session is all about what I'll be sharing. I don't say it a story, but I will be sharing it more of a lessons which I learned through my journey, which I have seen working with other entrepreneurs, which I'm sure will be useful to some of you. So let's start the session. Let me just share my screen. Just confirm me once it is visible. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir, it's visible, sir.
Great, thanks. So guys, today we will talk about a story of moving from engineer to entrepreneur, a story from a boy like this. Now, this is my own photograph. Some of you might not even recognize. This is a photograph when I was a part of final year of my engineering, and fortunately, I belong to the same city which all of you belong from, Solapur. So I'm a passed out of WIT. And this is a photograph when I used to sit with my good friend Professor Tapkir on college katta and dreaming for the future. A story of becoming an entrepreneur. So guys, when we talk about an entrepreneurship, let me first ask you a very simple question. How many of you would like to become an entrepreneur? Can you just raise your hand? There is an option of raise hand in your app or on website. Just use that option and raise your hand. How many of you would like to become an entrepreneur? Raise your hand. I'm just pausing for a minute. I guess 1 minute is more than sufficient to raise your hand. Okay, I can see good number of hands being raised up. I will also count it together, right? Okay. So I can see more than almost 20-25 hands coming up that you would like to become an entrepreneur. So guys, this is for all those members who are just raising their hand. First of all, let me clarify, there is this Microsoft team has an option of when I'm sharing my screen, my video goes off. So I'll be shuffling between screen share on and off so that I can also see all of you. For those members who are just raising their hand, which is more than I can now, the count has gone more than 25. And so let me tell you that a global statistics says only 5 to 7% of the world population is an entrepreneur. Only 5 to 7%. So let me take it on a higher side. Only 7% at maximum level of the world's population is an entrepreneur. So if you are one of that who is raising your hand right now, you have already separated yourself from the 93% of the world population. At least through your thought process. If you are dreaming to become an entrepreneur, you have already started thinking that I will not be a part of remaining or part of that 100, but I'll be a part of that 7% of that world population. So you have already started building your class, and 7 always gets associated with this famous number of not 7. Not 7 stands for what? James Bond, isn't it? Not everyone can become a James Bond. Not every individual can become an entrepreneur. The way James Bond has a class, whenever you say Bond, not 7, James Bond, the first thing that comes to your mind is a class, isn't it? Similarly, when you are thinking that I would like to become an entrepreneur, you have already started thinking of your own class. The day you are started to think like an entrepreneur, you are separating yourself from the masses and you are joining a club of classes. So entrepreneurship journey, the first lesson that which each and every entrepreneur should be proud of, that I am not part of the masses, but I am part of the class. So all those students who have just raised their hand, I welcome all of you to Elite Club of this not 7 Elite Club. Remember, there are only 7% of the world population is an entrepreneur. So with your thought process, you already joined that club. So I welcome all of you to this club of class. Guys, though it is said that this is a very interesting statistic that only 7%. The next question is why only 7%? And that's where lies some of the journey, some of the soft aspects, some of the hard aspects, some of the good experiences, some of the hard experiences which this class gives. Though entrepreneurship is very exciting, it is not easy. It is an exciting. So these two E's are very, very important, which all of us should remember, that entrepreneurship is definitely exciting, but it is also definitely not easy. So if you are looking for a very, very easy life, entrepreneurship is not for you. If you are ready to go through a roller coaster ride, I hope in these amusement parks, the difficult ride is this roller coaster ride. So if you are eager to go through a roller coaster ride of your life, so this is not a ride of just 10 seconds, 15 seconds, or 2 minutes. This is a ride of the life. So if you are willing that, okay, I want to go through this roller coaster, because roller coaster sometimes it gives pleasure, sometimes it gives some moments which you might not enjoy as well. That's how the roller coaster ride goes, isn't it? So if you are ready to become a part of this roller coaster ride of your life, that's where the entrepreneurship is all about. So when you are joining this session, please always remember that this is not a smooth cakewalk. It is a ride. It is a ride where there will be many occasions which will give you a happiness. You will be very happy that I am creating jobs. I am doing something on my own. I'm not dependent on someone. I'm serving the nation at a large. At the same time, there will be certain moments where you will say, okay, have I done the right decision? So you should be prepared for all of this. And for that, the first thing which I always feel, is through entrepreneurship, whenever you are thinking of starting an entrepreneurship, the first thing we should always remember that you should create your well-wishers. It is very, very important. And this is typically important, more important for all those members who will be first generation entrepreneurs. You should have a solid team of well-wishers with you. I tell you, I am also a first generation entrepreneur. And I'll tell you, because we said that it's a story, so I'll be sharing some of my experience also as well. So I spent about 10 to 15 years in the industry, 10 years to be very precise. And then one fine day I decided that now I will quit my job and I will join and I'll start something on my own. On that day, I was a part of a company called Thermax. I was the in charge of one of the division of Thermax, of the improvement cell of the Thermax. And to be very honest, drawing some handsome salaries, whether I work or don't work, on first day of every month, my bank used to send me a message that this much amount is credited in your account, which is a very good situation. I came and one fine day I decided that now it's a time that I should quit my job and actually start my journey towards my passion of becoming an entrepreneur, and inform this to my family members that okay, I informed this to my mother, father, and wife that okay, now this is something which I'm thinking of, and they were taken by the surprise. The first question they asked me is why you want to do this? Because you are doing something good, you are earning handsome amount, a good 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. job, everything is working well. Why you want to risk? And to add this news spread across some of my family members. So what happened? My family members started receiving call from the relatives. They started receiving a call from the relatives that why your son is doing this, or why your husband is thinking like this. He's doing such a good right in the job. Why he's taking a risk for his career? Now, if I give you statistics, out of 100 calls, if they have received 90% calls were like demotivating them that, okay, discuss with him and persuade him, no, don't go for this profession. Keep working with the organization. And there are only 10 to 15% of the members who actually called my family members also. Say that, okay, he's trying to do something different, support him. To me, those 10 to 15% of the members were very, very useful. So I called them, I discussed with them, I explained them what is there in my mind, I explained them what is the purpose which I'm moving to entrepreneurship, what is my plan, what are my goals. And then I asked them, okay, now why don't you speak this with my family members, my immediate family, mother, wife, and father. Now, these members, those 10 to 15% members, discussed with my parents as well as my wife, and then they motivated them that, okay, don't worry, we have discussed with this guy, he has some solid plans. Definitely he will face those struggles, but at the end, he will manage it. So support it. Now, that was a very, very important step. Creating these well-wishers, because please understand, when you are going for joining an entrepreneurship journey, and typically when you are a startup, you are at initial ages or initial months of your entrepreneurship, what you need most is a moral support. You will get financial support. You will get all the supports from the outside world, that is institutions, financial institutions, banks, investors, and so on. What you need most is a moral support. And this moral support you will only get when you create your well-wishers. And you have to put your own efforts in creating that ecosystem of well-wishers, because whenever you are down into your business, these are the well-wishers who will support you, who will motivate you, who will not derail you from your path. And that's where, guys, if you are thinking of starting an entrepreneurship journey, always remember that create a solid team. Create a solid team of your well-wishers. Now, these well-wishers can be your parents. Tomorrow when you get married, it can be your husband, it can be your wife. If you have kids, it can be your kids. It can be your friends. All those belong to this team of well-wishers. So you have to put a very good efforts right at the start that you create a good team of well-wishers who will keep motivating you, because the only problem with entrepreneurs is nobody comes and motivates them. Either an entrepreneur has to be self-motivated, or he gets motivation from his well-wishers. So that's where for me, creating this solid team of well-wishers is nothing but a foundation of entrepreneurship. As the building can sustain on a very, very good quality foundation, this is the foundation of entrepreneurship, which is the most neglected foundation. People give a very damn thought about it. But to young chaps like you, if you do a specific efforts and create this good team of well-wishers, build your foundations right, so wherever you are in a problem tomorrow, this foundation will support you. This foundation will help you to achieve your goals. That's the first lesson which I learned, because whatever my entrepreneurship journey is today, it is because of these well-wishers only. My family members, my parents, my wife, and those 10 to 15% of the members who they gave a call back and said that he is doing the right thing. So this is a very, very important thing to be done at the first stage of entrepreneurship, is creating a solid foundation through a team of well-wishers. Don't worry about the financials. You will keep getting money from, there are so many institutions who will keep giving you money. The only thing you won't get is the motivation, and this motivation and this support you can get by your own team of well-wishers, which is a foundation of entrepreneurship journey. Now, the next biggest question can come is how to build this team, how to motivate the well-wishers, how to convince the well-wishers, isn't it? Because why someone should come and say support your goal, support your journey? And that's where there is very important thing which I would like to explain you, and by sharing one picture. Do you know them? Okay, I guess other participants can't speak, so let me just open. He is the guy called Sir Edmund Hillary, who climbed the Mount Everest. He was the first person to climb the Mount Everest. Now, let me share you one story of Sir Edmund Hillary here. You know, Sir Edmund Hillary climbed the Mount Everest. He was the first person to have a feat on the Mount Everest. But let me tell you, it was not his first attempt to climb the Mount Everest. He had several attempts. Initially, he tried a lot. He failed. He came back to his base camp. So he had several attempts when he was doing his ride out on the Mount Everest. And one fine day, what happened is Sir Edmund Hillary was sleeping in his tent. He was very restless because he had an unsuccessful attempt. So he was very, very restless. He was just thinking, and suddenly something stuck to his mind. He came out of his tent. He just looked at the Mount Everest, and he actually screamed. At the Mount Everest that he said, and this episode is narrated by Sir Edmund Hillary only in one of the press conference. He screamed at the Mount Everest and said, "Hey, Mount Everest, one day I will conquer you." He said, "Hey, Mount Everest, one day I will conquer you, because as a mountain, you cannot grow." He said, "One day I will conquer you, because as a mountain, you cannot grow, but as a human being, I have infinite capacity to grow. As a human being, I have infinite capacity to grow, and one day definitely I will conquer you." And the rest is the history, that in next couple of attempts, Sir Edmund Hillary actually conquered Mount Everest. So guys, it was his goal only. It was his mission, his vision of conquering the Mount Everest, which was motivating him. The biggest question you should ask yourself is, what is your Mount Everest? Do you have such a large vision with you, which will not only motivate you, but it will motivate your surroundings as well? So when you are thinking of starting an entrepreneurship journey, don't start with a small vision. start with a vision which is motivating enough. Start with a vision which is motivating enough. It should not only motivate you as an individual, but it should motivate the people around you also. So whenever we started Faber Infinite, we never thought that we wanted to start a small organization. We said that, okay, we wanted to be the best consulting organization of the world who will change the perception about the consultants. I'm very well aware that people say that what is a consultant? Consultant is someone who will look at your watch and tell the time. We said this is a perception of the consultant and we want to change this perception. So we want to be that boutique consulting organization who will change the perception of the consulting as a profession. We wanted to be a blue-collared consultant. So those are some of the vision which we said. We wanted to be the McKinsey of the small and medium sector. So those were the statements which we used. When I say we, and that is me and my partners were part of this entrepreneurship journey, we used, which was motivating not only to us, but to the family members also. So if you have a good vision in front of you, let's say, take an example, tomorrow someone comes out and say, no, what I want to start my entrepreneurship journey, I want to start an entrepreneurship journey by selling vada pavs. No problem at all. You can join and become an entrepreneur by selling a vada pav also. But do you have a vision that I would like to set up such a vada pav joints which will be compatible with even the McDonald's of the world? The way McDonald's has made burger popular across the globe, I will make vada pav popular across the globe. So if you are starting your entrepreneurship journey of selling vada pav, with this vision, I'm sure it will not only motivate you, it will motivate your surrounding also. Maybe you are starting the first stall can be the first step towards that journey. But your vision, your end goal is very, very important. And that goal has to be a big goal. It has to be a big goal, which will, I'm repeating, which should be motivating to all of you. And when you talked about that goal, I'll come back on this slide. You can have this goal only when you challenge the status quo. I hope you know this guy. The Manzi, there was a movie also which was done on him. He's a guy, Manzi, who actually broke the mountain and created the road single-handedly. So you can have a big goal only when you will challenge the status quo. Challenge the way the things are happening in the world. Once you challenge the things which are happening in the world, I'm sure you will come up with something which you want to change. Challenge and dream to change. Challenge the status quo and come up with a plan to change the status quo. And that's where, when you are challenging, challenge big. Don't challenge anything small. Don't challenge anything small. When Mr. Ratan Tata said that I will launch Nano, he challenged what? He challenged that person who is traveling on two-wheeler should use the car. Challenging big. And he challenged that, okay, I want to make that 1 lakh car which every person who is riding two-wheeler can afford. When the cars were made minimum in the 3, 4, 5 lakhs segment, making a 1 lakh car was something people was saying that it's impossible. But actually he designed a 1 lakh car and actually rolled it out. Whether it was a successful, not successful is altogether a different story. Now, why it was not successful, there are other lessons which even Tatas have learned through this. But the question here is, challenge the status quo. And when you are challenging, challenge something big. Because when you challenge big, your result will also be big. If you challenge small, you will get small results. But if you challenge something big, you will get big results. So guys, when you are part of entrepreneurs, so today when we started our own consulting firm, Faber Infinite, we didn't challenge any one person doing a consulting, but we challenge the methodology which even the big four consulting organizations of the world were using. There is a typical methodology which is all the consulting organizations of the world follow. We challenge that entire methodology, the methodology which was practiced since more than 50 years, the methodology which even the big four consulting organizations, I don't name them, were using it. We challenge that methodology. And today, Faber Infinite, we are about a 10-year-old organization. And today we have presence across 9 and almost more than 9 countries, having some of the Fortune 500 organization where we are consulting, we are supporting them. All this is possible only because of this challenge. Never be afraid of challenging big. Mark Zuckerberg challenged the way people were interacting, and that's why Facebook is so successful. Dhirubhai Ambani challenged the way the trading was happening, and today we have a Reliance because he challenged that system. So guys, if you want to become an entrepreneur and become a sizable entrepreneur, renowned entrepreneur, always remember that your achievement relates with your challenge. What you are challenging will decide your achievement. So always remember, when you are starting an entrepreneurship journey, always ask yourself one simple question. When I am starting an entrepreneurship journey, which current practice, which current status quo am I challenging? So again, I go back. Which current status quo am I challenging? And is this challenge big enough? Because guys, always remember, small makes it large. Your small challenge today means what? A small challenge given to a large ecosystem will make you large for tomorrow. Mumbai Dabbewalas are the example of it. An illiterate team of people is now today certified as a Six Sigma compliant organizations, which some of the renowned organizations of the world are not even been doing that. They are still struggling to call themselves as a Six Sigma compliant, but these guys of team of illiterate people, now they are Six Sigma compliant organization. So guys, always remember these 3 important steps. 1, challenging the status quo. When you challenge big, because at the end, your small challenge today will make you large in the future. And as a young army of the nation with no paradigms built, the best thing which you can do is challenging everything. Is to keep challenging everything. So challenge. So successful entrepreneurs are those entrepreneurs who have challenged something. They have challenged the current status quo. And once they have challenged the current status quo, they have made their own actions, strategies, actions to come out of that status quo, come up with some altogether innovative offering, and that's how they have become a successful entrepreneur. So that is something which I'm sure you all can learn of. So this is the check sheet of entrepreneurship. So what I'm trying to give you is the check sheet of entrepreneurship. Building the solid foundation through your support system, people supporting you, your foundation. Second, having a big vision. Third, challenging the status quo. Fourth, give a big challenge. Fifth, start with a small step of your challenge, because this just giving a challenge to an ecosystem will make you large for the future. Small makes it large. A very important step. Now guys, when you are starting your entrepreneurship journey, it's not that you will be given a green carpet or red carpet, right? No, you will not be given a red carpet treatment. The first thing which you will face in your entrepreneurship journey is the word called rejection. The first thing which every entrepreneur faces is called rejection. He decides a business idea. He takes this business idea to his prospective customer. The customer asks him one question. Okay, since how long are you into this particular business? And the answer this guy is giving that, sir, I am new to the business. The first thing he puts a stamp on your paper is proposal rejected. Let me be very honest with you. When we started Faber Infinite, that's how we said that, okay, we are into business, we know everything. We made many proposals to our prospective customers, and the first few proposals got a very unique stamp, a common stamp, and that was a stamp of rejection. But guys, as an entrepreneur, if you know that rejection is a part of my journey and it's the first step of my entrepreneurship journey or next step of my entrepreneurship journey, celebrate those rejections. Don't get demotivated when you get that stamp of rejection from your customer or from someone else. We always say that we celebrate rejections, because with rejections, you have already cleared one step of your entrepreneurship journey, because after rejection will come the acceptance. You will get that one guy, one customer who will have a faith on you. Okay. Anyway, when you get a rejection, go in, do an introspection that why you got a rejection, what was the objections which was raised by the customer, how can I tackle those objections? So you keep improving your sales pitch or your marketing pitch. You keep improving your marketing pitch with those rejections, and one fine day, what you will get is that golden stamp, a green stamp of acceptance. That breakthrough contract, the breakthrough, your first client, a breakthrough client. So guys, always remember, when you are starting an entrepreneurship journey, rejections are the moments of celebration. These are not the moments to get demotivated, but these are the moments of celebration, because with rejection, you are already moved very, very close to the next step of entrepreneurship journey, is the acceptance. Acceptance by the society towards your business idea, acceptance by the all the stakeholders towards you as an individual to be called as an entrepreneur of the future. We had 15 or more than that rejections before we had our first contract. And that first contract we received, and today I'm very, very proud even to say that the first contract which we received from a company called Inox CVA, which is today supplying cryogenic tanks to the entire nation in these difficult times. The tanks which you have seen, those photographs on the trailer, the oxygen is being carried through a tank. That was our first customer. Even he is my customer today also, and we are supporting them to increase their capacity so that they can make more tanks, so that this increased demand of the oxygen carrying tanks can be quickly met. And once you have your first customer, then one thing that should be on top of your mind should be your customer. When you get your first one or two customers, make sure that through your products, through your service, through your passion, you create such an amazing experience for those customers. Because friends, please remember, when you are for an entrepreneur, customers are the brand ambassadors of any entrepreneur. It's a customer who will talk about your product, your service, your qualification, your uniqueness to the entire world. So when you have got your initial one or two customers, make sure that you create such a enlightening experience for those initial customers, that these customers will become your brand ambassador. They will talk to the world about your own credentials. And world believes when your customer talks about you, when your customer becomes your brand ambassador, there is no better marketing required. So celebrate rejections, and then when you get your first customer, We call customer is king, customer is God, but I always say that make sure that you create unmatched experience to your customer. Give best to him, make him as your brand ambassador who talks good word up, and then that's how the business will grow. That's how today, in the span of 9 months, if Faber Infinite is in more than 10 countries, not just my efforts or my partners or our team members' efforts, it is because of our service to our customer, and they took us to the 9 countries. It's my customer, it's my Indian customer who gave me my first African assignment. So make sure that you make your customers as your brand ambassador. In this particular journey of entrepreneurship, there's one important lesson which you all should remember, and that lesson is expect the unexpected. I hope my screen is visible to all of you, right? Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Okay.
Yes, great. Okay. One of the key lessons which I learned through this entrepreneurship is always expect the unexpected. My friends, consulting is not, as I said, no, it's not a, entrepreneurship is not a cakewalk. There are so many surprises. I use the word roller coaster ride. There are so many surprises. And I'll tell you the latest surprise which happened. We were growing at very speedy rate till I can say up to March 2020. Every year, our growth was much, much better than our anticipation. There were certain areas where we were growing at a speed of more than 50% in certain countries. So we were very, very happy that, okay, this is the momentum which we were looking at, and we are already into that momentum. So we made very big business plans. We recruited people. We did some investments. Everything was like a perfect script. Everything was like a perfect script. And suddenly in March 20, the first news came that the country is going into a lockdown. Slowly things increased. The next news came is the world is going into a lockdown. Now that is something which was never expected. What impact it had, because we were into the consulting field where we deliver clients by going to the client place. So first news came that we cannot travel overseas. So for us, almost about 50% of our business comes from overseas clients. What was indication of it is that my 50% business is in danger. The next news came that there is a lockdown in the country. What it indicates that, see, the way consulting business happens, that when the consultant goes on site, he delivers services on client side, then only client pays that consulting organization. And the next news came that the entire travel is banned. Not only even the domestic travel, intercity travel is also banned. That means 100% of the business was banned. So such a trajectory, suddenly in couple of days, the entire dynamics changed, and the business which was on its very, very growth path suddenly slipped down to a zero. So those decisions were like moving from 100 to straight away zero. It's not that gradual. It happened direct jump. That questioned the entire business model which you have built since 10 years. This couple of things questioned the entire business model. Our business model was, we go on a client side, we deliver services on client side, we deliver best in class results at then, and then the client will pay me. That was the business model. And with this change in the external scenario, the entire business model, which was built by putting an effort for more than 10 years, was in a question. And such unexpected things we always call as a litmus test of an entrepreneur. If you can manage the situation from expect to unexpected, that any entrepreneur will manage the situation expected, that you expect that economy will grow so that your business will also grow. That's an expectation. Anybody can manage it. A successful entrepreneur manages the unexpected situation. So when you are talking about your entrepreneurship journey, you should be ready that in this journey you will come across such a many situations which are not at all expected. These are unexpected situations, and you should have, I use the word courage, ability to face those situations. And I'll give one simple example. When we had this situation, we were carrying a handsome team of members, consultants, and consultants are well-paid guys. Okay. So we have a handsome team of consultants, and the entire world said that, okay, since there is business is affected, people were doing retrenchment. People were laying off the team members. They were removing the people and so on. I'm sure you must have heard those news. The biggest question in front of us was, what should we do? Should we also lay off? Or what should we do? Then we thought that these are the team members who have supported us, and when the things are tough, it is our job to support them. So we had an open town hall session with our entire team, and we said, okay guys, look, this is the situation. Be transparent with your team. Guys, this is the situation. Our entire business model is at a question. The economics will be impacted in the future. It will be severely impacted. But at the same time, we took a very, very bold decision that we will not remove a single person. Of course, we will go with slightly lesser salaries. There will be certain salary reductions. But at the same time, this is for a bigger cause. But we don't want to remove a single person from the organization. Today, when I'm speaking with you, I'm very, very proud that in those tough times, we have not removed a single person. We kept our team united, we brainstormed, and then we moved from something called an on-site consulting and online consulting. So we interacted with our client. We said, see, the situations have changed, but we will still keep supporting you, but through online medium. We used artificial intelligence, all the augmented reality tools. So those, all the technology tools were brought in, and immediately we moved from on-site consulting and online consulting. Why I'm sharing this with you? Because when you are an entrepreneur, you should be flexible enough. And this is an example of flexibility. That's why I'm sharing. Otherwise, I don't want to just share for the sake of. Entrepreneurship is all about flexibility. You should be very, very flexible. As the external dynamics changes, how fast can you change? How fast can you change your business model? How fast can you change the way you operate? Will decide the fate of your entrepreneurship life. If you become too rigid, then you will not be in existence in tomorrow. So flexibility is another key important skill as an entrepreneur you should be having. You should be flexible enough to change fast. And when I say fast, you have to change very, very fast. And always remember that in your entrepreneurship journey, you will keep coming there are many such stories, but because we have short of time, so I'm not talking about all other stories. But since this was the most recent, I thought that let me share this with you. So always expect the unexpected thing. At the end, guys, I will just say that when you talk about entrepreneurship life, all those things, but it is your own film at the end. It is your own film. You can learn the lessons from the entrepreneurs like me or others. You can read the books. You can go through the stories. You can do everything to learn. But at the same time, please remember, you cannot copy paste. You cannot copy paste Dhirubhai's life to your life. You cannot copy paste Ratan Tata's life. You cannot copy paste Mark Zuckerberg's life. You cannot copy paste any entrepreneur's life. So copy paste doesn't work in entrepreneurship. You have to make your own film. It's your own film. You have to make your own film. And when you are making your film, make it large. Instead of making any small movie, why don't you make an Oscar-winning movie? Isn't it? So when you are making, guys, it's your own film, it's your own movie. Make it large enough so that the world notices your movie. And while having your movie, always remember, very, very important, care for society, care for your own family, care for your employees and their families, care for your suppliers and their families, care for your customers and their family, care for society as a large. Because these are the entrepreneurs who have care done through this, something called the care. They have supported the world. So many things which are happening in the world towards uplifting the poor people are because of the entrepreneurs. The money which they are investing in their corporate social responsibility, which we call it as a CSR, the initiatives which the entrepreneurs are taking. Now, I'm a proud Rotary, and my president Priyanka just spoke with all of you. So through Rotary also, what we are doing, most of the entrepreneurs are part of Rotary group. So through platforms like Rotary, we are trying to change the ecosystem of the world. We are trying to change the way, the problems of the world. And that's where this is very, very important value, care. Today you might be a student. Tomorrow you are a startup entrepreneur, and day after tomorrow you will be a very, very successful entrepreneur. I'm very confident about it. In this throughout journey, always remember these last two things is, one, it's your film, make it large. Instead of making any small documentary, why don't you make an Oscar moving film? So Oscar moving film is your own entrepreneurship journey. And last, while making this Oscar moving or large enough movie of your life, always remember to care for the society at large, because tomorrow when you become a successful entrepreneur, it's a society who has made you a successful entrepreneur. So you have to give back to the society. It's your moral responsibility to give back to the society. This thing you will only do when you care for your society. And we are almost close to my time. So I'll just say that, guys, never forget, only fish swims with the stream. And if you are not fish, don't swim with the stream. Don't swim here means those 93% of the people who are not part of entrepreneurship club. Try to swim against the stream. Welcome, join this class of entrepreneurship club, which again I repeat is only 7% of the world's population. With this, I hope you could get some of the inputs. I would like to once again thank all of you, the management of Srinagar College, and everyone, Navla Institute, and everyone for inviting me to present my credentials, to have my thoughts in today's session. I hope some of you could get some hints out of it. And as I said, the return on investment of this session will be only when few of you join this entrepreneurship, and I really see that you becoming a better entrepreneur, big entrepreneurs of the future. If any one of you who would like to become an entrepreneur and want any support from me, of course, my details are available with Jagtap sir and Professor Tapkire. Through them, you can get in touch with me. As I said, this is my extended passion to create future entrepreneurs. So I'll be very, very happy to support you in whatever means it is possible at that point of time. So once again, thank you, everyone. And I'll be happy to take any questions, answers. All right. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your enlightening speech. It was a very pleasure to attend, and you helped us to articulate parts of our role well and consider new aspects of our leadership. I will be able to carry the lessons learned here going through forward in our future. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your knowledgeable speech. Surely one day we will be a great entrepreneurs under your guidance, sir. Now I would like to thank our principal, sir. Shortly he had joined the session. I would like to request him to please guide us or speak something about today's session. Excuse me, Principal sir, can you hear me?
I think there may be some network problem. Let it be.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. Sure. We'll move further.
And Kulkarni sir, very wonderful session, very inspiring session. Very good, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to request Patak sir to give the vote of thanks.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. On the behalf of NBN Sinhagad College of Engineering, I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our chief guest, Ms. Priyanka Karnik ma'am and Mr. Vishal Kulkarni sir, founder and managing director of Fibri Infrared Creative Solution Private Limited, who spent, or instead of saying spent, who invested time with us from his busiest schedule to grace this occasion. Today we had an opportunity to hear you, sir, as well as your thoughts also, and this will surely be going to encourage us and our students for future events. Your thoughts have been enlightened our minds and have shown new path to us. I am immensely thankful to our principal sir, Dr. Shankar Navle sir, Vice Principal sir, Jagdish sir, and Vice Principal and HOD Mechanical, Dr. R.T. Vyavare sir. Also, I am very much thankful to IISc President, Professor S.T. Jagtap sir, convener and coordinators of IISc. Also, all departmental HODs, I am thankful for joining this session. I am also thankful to Vaishnavi Biradar and Swaraj Gongde, who have coordinated this webinar. Also, I extend thanks to all the faculties and non-faculty members as well as non-teaching members for their enormous cooperation within the organization. Last but not least, a big thank to our students who have stay with us for this session, and I declare that this webinar is over. And dear students, on WhatsApp group, you will get a message regarding joining of next sessions as well as next class. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for this session. Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. My pleasure.
So students, you can leave and just check your WhatsApp group for next classes.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye, sir.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.